Electric Fire Chapter 24 Going Home.
My plan was mainly to get Sonic back to his home, back to Tom and Maddie and Elfgun's radar. Nothing else mattered now. My past is far behind me and no, I need to let it go, but things are starting to pile up. This anger I feel within me is far too much to take. But for now, I need to keep it bottled up for Sonic's sake. And if this is his doing, I shouldn't take any of it out on him unlike what Gerald did. The commander is starting to become him. Both of those humans allowed anger to control them. One doesn't want the truth though, and the other, well, he let himself go down a path of misery, making a web of lies. It was hard to sleep. I kept waking up and falling back asleep. I couldn't stay asleep though. Sonic seemed to have almost the same trouble, but he still slept, but seemed nightmares had a hold on him. He called out Tom's name in his sleep a few times, even saying,
"Tom, no?"
I knew I needed to get him home to Tom and Maddie, or the Pretzel Lady. Doma Lord is what Sonic nicknamed them as. He hasn't exactly called them that lately, much probably got too used to calling them by their actual name. There was a good chance that gun would find us here. If that happened, I doubt we'd have much of a chance to get back to Tom and Maddie. Gun knew of the Ark, not much of a good hiding place. My thoughts were interrupted as another yell from Sonic was heard. He was calling out for Tom again, but this time he awoke with a jolt. Blue electricity surrounded him. His coils lit up with the static that was coming off his fur. Emerald eyes were now an intense blue. He stood up, quills pointing upward, kindled like how mine were. The blue hedgehog was facing toward me now. His stare was a blank one, almost as though he wasn't thinking straight. Sonic. I spoke up. He didn't reply back. He got on his knees, getting ready to run at me. Surely he was still dreaming, though he was awake while he seemed to be. Or rage has taken over. Sonic, I don't want to fight you. Again, no response from the other. Instead, he whispered something. I could kinda make out what he was saying.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He had counted down. Once he got to 1, he lunged, leaving sparks of electricity behind him. I dodged the attack. He went straight for the steel wall. He hit it pretty hard that he left a dent. It was enough to get him to stop. The impact caused him to fall back. Afterward, he sat up. He seemed dazed and confused. The electricity faded and his eyes went back to being an emerald green. Sonic, you okay? He just looked up at me and nodded a bit. He was hurt after the impact. He got up and limped back to the couch. Sonic. He just looked back at me before sitting down.
I know what I did. If it's what you were about to ask, I'm sorry. I think I was lucid dreaming or something. I was aware of what I was doing, but I couldn't stop myself.
It was obvious he felt bad for what he had done. He could barely look at me. Sonic, it's okay. No harm done. Sirens blared, interrupting our conversation. It was likely gun found us. I took Sonic by the hand and we rushed to the computer lab. There were cameras all over so I could check the footage through the computers. But when we got there, well, gun agents were already blocking the room. We both hid behind the corner before any of them spotted us. Sonic covered his mouth with one hand, trying to not make a sound. Then I noticed a camera was starting to turn toward us. I quickly made a spear manifest into my hand before I lunged it straight at the camera before running off again. The spear had literally formed from nothing, though it was my own energy that caused it to appear. I feared that even if we tried to get away, gun would just end up taking us back anyway. I didn't want to go back there. I had to try. I knew I had to use Chaos Control again, not wanting to get captured again. I looked back at Sonic, still holding his hand. I tried to picture Tom and Maddie's home, trying to imagine Sonic's room. We both heard footsteps coming toward us. 2 pairs of boots was what I picked up on. 2 soldiers probably coming to see why one of the cameras were down. They stopped though as they got closer to us. They definitely spotted us. Next thing I heard was a weapon being drawn. This was my only shot. I was blocking it from reaching Sonic, at least whatever type of weapon it was. I let go of Sonic's arm. He just clutched onto me like before. We both heard a gun go off, but then in a flash we were in Sonic's room back at Tom and Maddie's. Chaos Control worked! Just as we landed on the floor with a soft thud, I looked back at Sonic before falling unconscious.
Shadow
Was the only thing I heard before I collapsed. Footsteps ran up the stairs, causing Sonic to turn around before getting in a fighting position, thinking it was a soldier, but instead it turned out to be Tom.
Sonic's point of view.
It was so great to see Tom again. He ran to me and scooped me up in his arms. We both cried a bit. I missed him so much. It was great to be back home, but then Tom set me down and went to Shadow. I watched as he inspected the other hedgehog, but then he turned back to me.
Sonic could grab a towel and hurry.
Tom stayed by Shadow. I feared for the worst as I quickly took off to grab a towel.